Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Ulysses Planning Board meeting for August 5th, or for August 18th, 2025. Thank you, Mo. First order is a roll call of board members.
Jeff McDonald.
Linda Little.
Carl Pankowski, Chair.
Will Klein.
You want me to say my name?
Knights.
Simon Bernard is here.
All right, thank you. For tonight's agenda, we have the following items. Let's see, approval of past minutes, privilege of the floor, new business items. M sub 2507-01 Reynolds sketch plat review. SBR 2507-02 Wilson Tram sketch plat review. SBR 2508-01 Friedman site plan amendment, sketch plan review. And then comp plan draft chapters 6 and 7. And streams recommendation to the town board. And planning board and staff members, I don't see any town board members present. Right. Let's see. I would approve any changes to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept it as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
All right.
Now, how does the Simon? vote?
Well, we've got 4 of us. If we don't,
1, 2, 3, 4.
we've
Okay.
got to get a super majority. I think rather than go through bringing him on to vote, you know, they can't remote anyway, so.
Okay. Just checking.
There's enough of us here at least.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, next on the agenda is the past minutes for the August 5th meeting. Do you all have a chance to look at it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Any changes or,
Looks good to me.
all right?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in
He
favor?
hesitated.
I know.
Let's see. Next is privilege of the floor for. Let's see what we have here. I don't think we have anybody in the audience that's not part of tonight's agenda. I don't see anybody online. So,
I'll make a motion to close this. Privilege of the floor.
Second.
right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's see. It's all new business tonight, so. Is there anybody here for Reynolds?
No?
Did you guys have a chance to look at their submitted documents? It's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward breakup of the farmland versus the house.
But don't they have to be here?
They don't have to be here, but
It's helpful.
was there any questions the board had? Because I had a big one for them.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Well,
What did we miss?
well, are they gonna have to go to the BZA because the original house lot is not 400 feet wide anymore?
How many, how feet? Is it-
400.
It's 400 there.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if they want to do it as proposed, the reason why we have this on the agenda is because they submitted it pretty last minute and requested an expedited review. So I was hoping they'd be part of this conversation, but if they want to go as proposed, they'll have to go through
The
a
BZA,
variance.
yeah.
Well,
They have
wait.
enough road frontage though to move the line over. So we can just reach out to them later and see if they want to keep with us or go to the BCA.
Well, couldn't they make it a flag lot?
As proposed, this would be a flag lot,
Right.
but the
Yeah.
problem is none of this of the existing development can be in what they call
In the
pool.
In the
So
pool?
that's where the variance would come in. It would have to be
Uh,
back down.
Back,
here.
yeah.
that's
And I'm not
probably
sure
what
how
they asked for.
usable that back piece of woodland is back there because there's a
Looks
a
pretty good.
USGS intermittent stream that comes up the east boundary of that property. Between the buildings and I think it's brother or sister-in-law,
Yeah,
their
on
whole
that side,
Reynolds
yeah.
properties on that side. And so when you divide this thing, that 100 or 150 foot or whatever they have there is gonna be pretty, you could certainly replace in the same footprint the buildings that are there, but anything new. And then as you go back around the back part back there, there's a wetland there, it looked like there was a wetland, and
There was a pond.
yeah, I expect that would have to go to the DEC to get one of these, you know.
Letters,
the-
To do something, but not for the subdivision.
Not for the subdivision, but it's certainly gonna make that lot, you know. Tough to use other than as currently configured with the house and that. I would think they would go to the BZA.
No.
But
But they really can't put a house here anyway. In the back.
Like Carmen's stream was on, that'd be hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Without
it's,
guidance.
it's gonna be,
No road frontage.
right,
The frontage over here, Reynolds,
Yeah.
flag law.
Yeah, but it's only 193.
because it's that big set of dairy farms that wants to buy the big chunk of farmland. And they're farming pretty much everything else in the area. As you go around the corner, the next, all the way over to the next road is all Bergen Farms.
But
there.
it's-
So,
But did you notice how big those fields are and how little those fields?
yeah, it's like 10 acres in that corner they're gonna add on, but Bergen Farms is between them and Schweitzer are gobbling up everything that's usable farmland in the town.
I'm just surprised.
That they'd be interested in it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because
On the
it's right
road.
on the, essentially
Right,
right on the corner,
Yeah,
Right on
parking
the
lot.
right on the road, and it's right next to what
Yeah.
they're already working and that sort of stuff. And I don't know if they rent, the land across the road from it. You know, what's their name? Marino, their farm is right across the road from this. There's about 80 acres of land there that's under corn right now and stuff. And if it's like everything else in the town, there's probably Bergen working that too, so they would just take all the usable farmland in the area, but. Well, I think we just table this one and go back to them and, you know, you're gonna have to go to the BZA one way or the other for a deviation if they're gonna stay with what they're wanting to do, which is to transfer all the farmland.
So I'll make a motion to table it.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Next one is SPR 2507-02 Wilson Tram Sketch Plan Review. Don, you wanna
Yeah,
take
thank
us
you.
through it?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Sean Ritchie and I work for Finger Lakes Tram, FLX Tram, and I'm representing Victoria Wilson, whose property is over on Tegonic, 1587 Tegonic Boulevard, and before is requesting to replace her existing tram. And so we're here to talk about that and apply for a building a permit to do that. The tram is maybe about 85 feet long, 45 degrees, 2 stations, an upper station and a lower station. Again, there is a current upper station there, current tram track there that will be removed. And then at the bottom, there is a platform or the bottom of her stair structure down there where the tram will finish, and then our goal is to get that so it's no steps to that that lower platform. Then she'll have a exit to the north, step off, then onto her beach or stone or going down.
Mhm.
So knock down her stairs from 85 steps to 1 step, hopefully, something like that.
Were there any plans on that?
Yeah.
Because there was certain things that didn't come through. When you sent those emails, and I think that was one of them, is the plans for this.
Yes, did you guys put the so fun?
Do you get it?
Wait,
Yeah.
what plan?
The plan for the tram?
Yeah,
Yes,
You
that
did?
was in, yeah, with that big list of things that you sent.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
one of them that I couldn't open
you
up.
couldn't open
It
it
said
up?
0 in it.
oh,
Oh,
Oh, okay.
anyway.
Oh, okay, that's all.
Yes,
So the new structure, the new tram will basically be identical a little bit. Basically the same footprint as the existing one.
so there's no encroachment on the setback or anything like that.
no,
Yeah.
there's,
Oh, nice.
you can go either way. There's a couple
Okay.
photos of that I took this afternoon.
This is the old
And,
one.
and this is a large lake lot. It's like 300+ feet wide, and this is in the middle of that 300 foot wide lot, so. No side boundary issues to deal with, and there are no streams on the lot either, so.
Right. There's really even not a lot of, clearing needed, and there's some, some, weeds and things that have grown up that will be taken out, but there's one tree that's not even in the path, but there's a couple of dead branches that are kind of overhanging the tram. We'll take those out, but there's really no, impact to the ground really, other than our pilings that will go down.
Did you want to see it, Ron? The pictures, the photographs?
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah,
helps a lot.
Jeff and I went down this afternoon, but. Yeah, it's an old steel tram that's in there, and you're gonna leave the two heavy base rails, right, and build around
There you
them?
go.
Well,
Is that the plan, or is the
yeah,
new
most
stuff
of-
gonna take everything out?
Most of it gets removed. There is one structure that would be helpful to us as far as structurally give it some stability.
Okay.
And, there's sometimes if it was a situation, we could actually attach our tram to an existing, we've done that. But in this case, it
No,
doesn't work out, so we're gonna remove it, and we'll have kind of a clean slate, which makes things a little bit cleaner. We can put the track exactly where we replace it versus building it on top. And yeah, just two stations, top and bottom, and then there's even existing power there from the previous install, so. That's it.
That'll be a relief.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
because of the steep slopes and the lake setback, it's still gonna have to go to the BZA. To, I think, to deal with that. Because the old one was installed before a lot of this zoning came in place, so there's
Well,
no.
what's the fact?
Well,
Yeah.
the lakefront,
Okay,
they're like the 40 foot from the lakefront, because the base of the tram ends up down there right at the 100 foot floodplain level.
Yeah.
oh, it did.
And,
Okay.
and it's the same,
Oh, that's what
same
I
unit,
did by my
and-
question before, I didn't know.
yeah,
Yes, okay.
it's the same you always deal with on the lakefront. So, and the BZA, they're not gonna be on this month's schedule, so it'll be next month, so our meeting is before the BZA meeting. Is there any way, Niels, that we can set it up that if the BZA approves it, that our approval is sitting there waiting for it, or do we still need to hold a public hearing, or have the BZA hold a public hearing? I don't know. These
So-
are big lots, and she's got a land trust property to the south. And the neighbor to the north, I don't know, I can even see their house.
You can't see it in the summer, yeah. Pretty big, they were like the original home, I think they owned the farmland there, so they. Can't see it in the sun, nobody can see that.
So to your questions, for site plan approvals, it doesn't automatically trigger public hearing unless you wanted to, but there's still notification that's required
Mhm.
for that. And to your questions, Carl, Nate has always said when there's dual, the BZA should issue their decision prior to the planning board. But in this case, I mean, there is some leeway, you can always condition it upon their approval.
Well, that's what I meant, we condition it upon their approval.
It's just, the problem is if the BZA. Your planning board is approving whatever site plan you're working with, and so if the BZA says no to 10 feet, you have to do 20 feet. Technically, you'd have to come back and do a amendment to that site plan.
Yeah, well, then we just have to bring it up on the first meeting in October, be the
Right.
first
Yep.
Tuesday in October.
sure.
Yeah, so they meet. On the 17th. So you could either do it on, you're not meeting on the 2nd, so you could do it on the 16th, you know, Tim.
I mean.
Yeah.
You feel you needed public hearing on this one, or? I don't think so, there's no, and it's a tram for a tram.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a direct replacement sideways, so.
If when we send notification, people can provide input on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just not technically a public.
A
hearing.
public hearing,
Yeah.
yeah. I think sufficient.
Yeah,
And
just notify the neighbors within was it 500 feet?
500.
Yeah. It's not gonna be many.
Maybe two.
It's just-
So if you want to do that, we just need a motion to do that. For the 16th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, the 16th, wait, BZA's meeting when?
On the 17th.
17th. We're, because of the Labor Day holiday being on the first, we're not meeting on the second.
No, I know, but don't we have to wait until the BZA? deals
Well,
with
that's
it
what we're
before?
saying is we would make a conditional approval on the 16th, that if the BZA doesn't change the site plan by deciding they need some other site, because this is such a wide lot. There's, you know, the,
Well, why wouldn't we do it today and skip it from the 6th?
We don't have public notification.
Oh, gotcha. Right, duh. What did I just ask?
Everybody awake?
yeah,
Yeah, sure.
we're trying to streamline it, but a
I know,
little
I
bit
know,
too
I know,
much,
I know.
okay. So it'll be on the old business on the 16th, just to formally approve it. But at this point, we certainly don't have anything to object to. It'll certainly improve your property to put a new tram in there instead of what you've got.
So between now and then, you know, notifications go out in a couple weeks, time and any feedback, and then
Right,
maybe we can meet during Zoom, or I'm happy to come back on the 16th, but
well, you'll probably have to be back on the
I'll come back on the
17th
17th, but.
with
I'll
the
stay at the hotel.
BZA, so I would just go by Zoom on the 16th for
Yeah.
us.
Okay,
Yeah, right. In case we have questions.
yeah, great. All right,
May I ask what form are they going, are you sending letters or is that?
Yeah, it's a letter notification to the neighbors. If we were going to hold a public hearing, then there's signage that goes up for people driving by and that sort of stuff, but.
Hmm.
This is essentially a replacement of what's there, and
So since this is vacant, oh, you send it to the address. Yeah. Or do we go by the tax rule, so,
It's information that's provided by the county, so it's most of the time it's
tax rules.
it's the tax rolls, and it's generally the property owner that's on site, but sometimes it is the property owner can be like in Florida. And so it'll be both to them and the person who's residing. Or at the
residing in the
residence.
presence,
Yeah.
okay, so it's both, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just concerned since they're often vacation homes, yeah,
On the lake, yeah.
yeah. And it's not peak season,
So then, we need anything else, Niels, before the 16th?
Just that motion.
Oh, for conditional approval,
No, to schedule final site plan review.
make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Right?
I,
Aye.
Great.
Thank you.
hey, thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
See ya. Maybe via Zoom in a month, but.
This is what
Yeah.
I'm getting, it says plan, set 0 pages.
Yeah. Maybe clear cache.
I've tried it dozens of different ways and on different computers. Know why?
I don't know, Mo. There's gremlins trying to exclude you, that's not good.
No,
We need you.
All the others work. If I go to this one. To the next one.
does the planning board have a budget for IT consultants?
Help.
Mode.
We just got today, we just heard today late afternoon that our IT fixed for our website, so things should be up and
That would be
running.
good, yeah.
I get everyone except for that one. Every one of these opened up except that one.
Well, if you
That's
just.
you. You did.
Yeah, but he normally bundles all of us in the same email.
I know, but how come all of them open except for one?
I don't know, it opened for the rest of us though.
And what was it last, you had another,
Excuse me?
Another-
at the last meeting, you had an issue.
Well, it was the meeting with the lawyer. That his came up with a
Oh,
different
with a
date,
different
time,
date.
Oh,
or a
yeah.
different time.
I had,
ours.
I had a date, I was here,
Yeah.
and then it was like an hour later, and I had to do something. But I looked it up on all of them, and it all said like 1 o'clock. Everybody else's said 2
Said 2
o'clock,
o'clock.
mine all said 1, and I showed it to you. It said-
Except for mine, if I looked at the AOL
There's a
calendar,
gremlin
it's
at
11.
Mo's computer.
Yeah, I think
The
we need-
daylight savings here.
This is a new one.
It's a daylight saving setting here
Yeah,
in whatever your calendar purposes.
Hmm?
It's a daylight savings setting in whatever your calendar.
That could be
No,
for
I
that,
checked that.
Oh,
Really?
I've worked on computers since they were 8-inch discs.
Yeah.
So I know all about them, but no, there's something going on. I don't know what.
It's
But
just
it's
my,
not that, it's not daylight saving.
Calendars can be really mystifying. I've seen some weird.
if you discover you're missing something, send me an email.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
happily share. Mine usually seems to come through correctly, so. All right, so we've taken care of that one. So next on the agenda is SBR 2508-01 Friedman Site Plan Amendment, Sketch Plan Review. Mr. Friedman?
Ready? Nice to see you again. Yeah, so here with Friedman Properties, we want to put up a sign for Corner House. The same way we did for Mom Said. You've got it designed, very similar in nature to what we've done with Mom Said, rustic 4x4s. So. Any questions?
So the sign,
This came.
yeah, the sign you have there right
This is
now,
the
is that where you're
box.
gonna be putting
Oh,
it?
that I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is
Yes, the
same
temporary sign is right
dimensions.
out on the road right now. Yes, it's.
Well,
right
there's two temporaries. You have one, I just went by this afternoon and
Right.
there was two signs. One was a.
So it's enough.
Yeah.
The A-frame for the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the other one, so where that other one is where you're gonna be putting.
that is
it.
where it's spotted out, based on the drawings, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it really busy. Was my concern. And I mean, I understand you
Yeah.
need to identify that you're there.
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I could go closer to the problem is I didn't want to go any closer to the intersection.
I know.
I probably could go closer to the intersection. Sort of just looking at what the sight lines are.
Yeah. I think any
Yeah.
further you can, because. I don't know, it just seemed to me, I even went around and drove up to see what it was like. I mean, I didn't come the other way, I didn't come from
Yeah.
Germansburg to look at it, but with the other, but I'm assuming it's the same issue. That you have to look fat, you're only gonna see one of them. If you're driving and you're trying to attract attention, but if people are looking, I suppose it's okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, one sign sort of blocks the other sign.
yeah,
Mama Said really kind of blocks our sign if you're coming
from
south.
Germansburg, yeah,
Our sign doesn't really block their sign sort of either way.
That's
Right.
the
Because it's
temporary
smaller
that's
than
out there,
theirs
it's
and
almost
it's
as
set.
big as what the permanent will be.
but-
I saw that.
I think it's okay, because I'm not really sure what else I do if I'm gonna have a sign on the road unless we'd have to completely, we'd have to rebuild Mama Said that sign, make a much larger sign.
or make a two. Yeah, like. Put two,
Like a shopping center.
Yeah, shopping
One
center.
above
Yeah,
the
we'd
other.
be double it, we'd have to double, just. I mean, which, would work probably from the street, but I just don't know that it would look so great in the neighborhood.
I don't know,
But
but did anybody else look over?
Yeah, I looked at it there. I think having it look the same as the Mama Said sign. They're gonna be duplicate signs is what they are. They are about, 80 feet apart, give or take. Something
yeah,
like that,
probably less.
probably less than that anyhow.
So did you see it today? Did you
Yeah,
just put
I
that
drove up there.
To with the signs?
Yeah,
there?
with the
Yeah.
one, the temporary one that's
Yeah.
out there. That was several days ago Thursday when I made my cemetery run, I deliberately drove in there to take a look at this and begin to understand it. Yeah.
I mean, there are no restrictions on how close to each other the signs have to be. I mean, they quickly skim. We need BART, he's one that rewrote the signage.
Yeah, well, because the current signage that's in the zoning is
Doesn't say anything about how far apart. multiple
right, business
signs
signs have to be and that sort of stuff.
Anything like that, which
It-
might be a.
One question I had, how big is the sign that's on the side of the building now?
Yeah, that one is 3 feet by 6 feet. 36 by, well, the board underneath it is 36 by 72. That banner is actually, I think, 24 by 72. Or 30 by 72.
So 12 square feet there and this 54 inch by 54 inch, which is what it. You know, that's why I was trying to get in here, the computed sign area and this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, cause for the business district. And it gives them a total of 48 feet, it's 48 square feet for what's on the building and what's out there by the street.
All total in total.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's, where's the B one or the business part of this? Then we start getting into then this is an ugly.
The sign section is very.
That's what we are.
Yeah,
The chap.
signs for the B one zone, any sign required by law, official signs, all that. For retail businesses, not any shopping center, no more than 2 signs, not a problem.
Right.
Not to exceed 24 square feet each. This one's about 20 square feet. The one on the side of the building is 12. You know,
18.
2 by 6 is 12 square feet. So, if more than one sign is attached to the building facade, cumulative square footage for all signs should not exceed, let me see. For businesses that's a shopping center. Sign that identifies the plaza or tenants, nope. Lay it up here. Line 2 sign. So it's 48 square feet that they've got to work with. So he's at about 32.
Mhm.
So well within that. Niels, do you have any additional insight on this?
Aside from, this is one of my least favorite sections of code.
Yeah, right.
Did anyone look at the definition for shopping center?
No,
Yeah, good point.
So
There is a definition.
there's a definition of shopping center. Was leaving it up to the board to grapple with. So it says a number of businesses located on a single parcel. Which both Mama said and Corner House is on a single parcel. Or even if they were under separate parcels, it says, or adjacent parcels under single ownership. So by definition, you should be looking at this as a shopping center. That would be my interpretation.
That was my
no,
gut, because they were 2 separate buildings, I thought.
where's the shopping center?
But then what do they say about shopping?
That's what I'm trying to.
No,
Well, actually, right, for a sign that identifies a shopping center or plaza. And its tenants no more than 1 2-sided sign not to exceed 120 square feet on each side. Not more than 15 feet high located at the entrance of the shopping center.
so then you'd be.
That would be essentially driving him to put both Mama said and his sign on the same set of posts.
And I get to, even though it's not clear, I would interpret that to just be the freestanding sign, not the proposed wall sign.
Oh. But in the shopping center, you have the right to designate which building is which service,
Yeah.
right? So you'd have to have some signage on it.
There should be separate regs for freestanding signs and wall signs. And this one isn't that great, but.
Yeah,
Sign.
right, of course.
Along with a bunch of other issues.
Yeah,
I would certainly want to keep the one on the building, even if we put both of these on the same post, just to help identify which is which. Although I noticed Mama said doesn't have any signs on the building for
They need
it.
one. They need one.
now they do, since, yeah,
Since both businesses are in the same parking lot.
so,
Something in the window that says their Mama said.
Well, if that one says the dispensary, then that one has to be.
Right, by default is the sandwich shop, yes.
I looked at when I looked at the rules and because I did think about this, I said, okay, so does this make us a shopping center?
yeah.
It
right.
doesn't seem to, I mean, it does seem to define what a shopping center is, but there doesn't seem to be anywhere where there was a prohibition for multiple commercial properties within the same property. Because the definition for an individual business doesn't actually, I don't think it sort of defines that a business has to be on its own lot necessarily. But I may be wrong about it, but I'm just saying, it just seemed like there was some flexibility in terms of whether you had to go that route, but.
Yeah, right.
Well, it would
That's why
certainly
I'm not
take care,
saying-
it would certainly take care of the visibility issue
And,
if you
and,
stack them one on top of the
Yeah.
other.
You know, honestly, I'm not too worried about the visibility. I mean, I understand if it's something, if it makes it look bad, I don't think it does. As long as Mama Said sign can be seen from both sides, that's more important to me. I'm not so much worried that the dispensary sign can be seen from both sides. It can be seen easily from the north and it can be seen pretty well from the north and very easily from the south. And it's, you know, it's a minor part of the parcel as far as I'm concerned, is the land.
but it does solve the problem of it looking really cluttered along the street.
Mhm.
You know, and you could indicate, and it, to me, it's could be hazardous because
Yeah.
people are trying to sort out the two signs and they're actually looking, so it would cause distraction
Mhm.
to the driver, you know.
Yeah, but I think, you know, it's not,
Mm,
it's a spot where it's mostly repeat business for both businesses. So, I mean, most people are
Until
gonna
it's
use. But you're always gonna
Okay.
have somebody who's not, but in terms of people coming, I mean, most people are gonna be repeat business. Nobody's gonna go with the number of dispensaries in Ithaca. I don't know how many people are gonna drive out of Ithaca. To come to the town of Ulysses to hit the dispensary, you know, where. You know, you might get some people from up north, but you know, it's gonna be mostly repeat. Customers, so I don't think. There's gonna be the same level of confusion there where. Versus a shopping center that has some weird repair place in it that people are gonna randomly. Come to
Mhm.
once every 6 years or something.
Mhm.
So I think. That way it's pretty easy to know once you know where it is. The sign is just a marker, oh, I have to turn up here. You're not really looking for the business anymore, so I don't think it's that confusing a setup either way. I mean, it's really just about how clean do you want the site to look, one side versus two. And I don't know how, I mean, is there anything in the sign ordinance about how high
15 foot high is the
is the
max height
maximum
for a
height? I
shopping
mean,
sign.
what's the bottom of the sign gotta be at? Because there's the driveway's there, and if you're looking under the sign to see the driveway,
Yeah, well, the Mama Said sign is about 3.5, 4 foot off the ground. And, you know, the total height of the top looked like it's about 8 feet, so even if you put another 4 foot or 4.5 on top here, like 12.5 feet at the top. They're well within the 15 foot,
Yeah, I think it's a little higher than that, but
yeah,
maybe another foot or so.
I'm more concerned about the space underneath.
yeah, well, Mama
Because that's
Said
part
has
of your
been,
sight distance.
Mama Said's been there, what, 3 years, 4 years?
That sign, at least, yeah, 4 years.
Seems to have been functioning with the land area. I would think if you added it on top, it would meet the shopping center description. Your issue of two signs successfully about 50 foot apart, you would put both of them in one spot.
You know, I
Yeah.
think, I mean, honestly, I've looked at it and I think it would be ugly. There's nothing that tall on the road. It's like putting a giant burned dairy sign on that road. I mean, I know it would still be wood and all that, but you know, I've got a neighbor just to the north of that and their view of the morning sun is gonna be now, you know, this giant dispensary sign on top. That's one issue. The other issue is that the dispensary is is on the other side of that lot, and a lot of people use it's much safer to actually turn that corner and drive in the other side
Off of
that
the
lot. Yeah,
Van Dorn.
and I think
Road.
it does become kind of confusing if that it's not just right there, that it's not the Mama Said building, but that's my opinion. I would probably move the signs then, locate them in the center of the lot. I'd have to rebuild both signs, so in that sense, I'm back to the drawing board and come up with something different.
Yeah,
Well, are you dealing with any time constraints from the state or anything like that? That says how soon you have to have signage
I
up?
am, those constraints have come and gone, so
So the temporary you've got there is covering that.
temporary I've got there is an issue waiting to happen if OCM wants to come back. So I need to get it done, but,
Or have it in the works.
but you know, I made it as permanent a temporary sign as I could make it look, for them, but their deadline is coming for a permanent sign, but you know, they sprung some things on, me, so I'm not too worried about that. I mean, we gotta get it done here, so. But you know, yeah.
I think it's such a. And I don't know what the legal side of it is in terms of having a shopping center sign versus a
Two signs, for
two
two
signs.
businesses that
You
are
know,
next
if it
to
has
each
to be
other.
a single sign, but you know, given that there's so few other signs in that area. That I don't think two signs really sticks out or. Looks bad. I mean, it's two signs on the corner. If there was more businesses running down a way and you had a bunch of other signs. And you wanted to define where that one entrance was, then yeah, but. I mean, it's two relatively small signs sitting out there in the middle of really nowhere.
Yeah,
They are, I mean,
For
they're
now.
nothing right there.
Yeah.
For now,
For now.
for
but
now. And that could change. I mean, that's the issue. Look, what are you setting going forward? And I see why they wrote it or did the definition now. I didn't think there was a definition. The shopping plaza, but that makes sense. I mean, if you look at Sure Say. Right, that's two shops. In there, and they have one sign, you know, designating the driveway for accessing it. Two.
Right.
But what would it look like if you had one for the liquor store and one for the shopping center? I mean, for the grocery store. Is
The other
thing.
commercial one would be Ulysses Square in Jacksonville is another example. Of multiple establishments on a parcel.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it easily. It's complicated. I
those
mean,
businesses are all connected then too.
as a part of these.
Well,
Yeah.
no, there's two separate structures here.
Oh, I see what you mean, the design of the building, yeah. The design of the building, okay. Well, this is by parcel.
Yeah.
So. I know this is a taste thing, I bet it, to me, it would make a lot more sense to have one sign that identifies both of them.
Mhm.
Just feel that way.
Right.
It struck me when I came up from Perry City Road and then from the other way. That it was just really cluttered. And if most people are coming from Trumansburg, you lose visibility on the Mama Said side. Mama Said sign side, yeah, say that again. Multiple times, and so you lose the value of it.
Well, the Mama
So-
Said sign is larger, than this sign, and the way the road is curved, you can see Mama Said. Whichever direction you're coming from,
Right,
it's only the cannabis store
Dispensary
sign,
sign.
yeah, and frankly. As the landlord, they pay me a lot less rent, and I'm a little less worried about people finding them because they will find them. I also happen to be the owner of the building, so the owner of the business, but I mean, I could certainly redesign it. I think also I'm allowed to put signs on two corners because I'm on a corner lot. There's a whole nother set of regulations about that. I frankly might look at moving the corner house sign, and I don't know that I really want. I mean, I have a great relationship with my neighbor to the north. I don't think putting 4 more feet on top of that sign, 4.5 feet on top of that sign is really a nice thing to do to them. I also don't think it's gonna look very good. I'd wanna redesign both signs, make them both smaller and do that. I don't.
yeah,
really have-
I understand,
Yeah.
and that
So I
would
would
make
come up with
more
a-
sense.
I'd wanna come up with a different solution.
To put it over on the Van Dorn Corners.
Maybe,
Side.
yeah, maybe, right. Or come up with a whole nother design that you guys felt looked better. So, I mean, if it's just a look, I can also come up with a sign that is maybe made out, maybe white or paint the frame or make it look distinguished from the other one.
And that could be a component, I
Yeah.
don't know, I didn't analyze my.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of places where signs are within that distance apart. And they work, I mean, all up and through down the village, signs are that far apart. And they don't block each other, and if they do, it's
Yeah.
okay, people drive by enough. And the signs are really there for people who are driving by multiple times, they'll learn where the location is.
Yeah.
That's my feeling about
I
it.
know, I get,
The sign
I
can only do so
understand.
much, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
sure.
or I could look at moving it closer to the stop sign. That would be a possible solution. It looks like that could be done. I don't know if did I send you pictures? But I mean, that's a picture literally from my truck pulling out at the intersection, so it sure seems like that sign could move forward without blocking somebody pulling out, but that was kind of my concern, was if I put it too close to the corner, then people pulling out are gonna have a problem. Or maybe
Look-
some-
Yeah,
Fast
blockage of
and
that
see up the
intersection
road.
is an issue when we.
Yeah, I really don't like block
Yeah.
headers. And I also don't want people make that right very quickly. I want them to be able to see that. I see what's coming.
Yeah, I think keeping it farther from the intersection is probably better for.
Yeah, I think that's the thing you got to.
Did you reach out to safety or city?
I have it about 3 weeks ago.
If you do anything closer to the stop sign, you want to reach to Scott. He's our DPW Public Works Director, because that road's a town road.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather not go closer. To the.
12 feet back from the edge of pavement, 4 feet high. Has to have the sight line, it's a controlled intersection,
Or DOT.
and UTCD,
Something
back in the old
Something
days.
needed. Oh, okay. What shall we do? No, do you have any thoughts on? Or
Yeah.
Simon?
Have to rewrite the.
Oh, well, we know that, but. I didn't bring along our attempts at doing that, but it's,
Oh, yeah.
Well, is this something that we could send to the BZA? For variance?
I don't think there's any need for variance, is there?
Well,
If
Oh,
there-
If he wants to put
Yeah.
two signs.
Put two signs versus one.
Yeah, you could also send it to them for an interpretation, because that's the other part of their job.
since it is vague.
Yeah.
Or ambiguous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna kick it to the.
Simon, do you have any? Simon, do you have any thoughts?
No, nothing from me.
Okay.
If we boot it to the BZA, it's gonna push it to, says,
So October.
till October before we get a decision, because they meet after we meet in September.
Is it a shopping center?
I read it as a shopping center based on your.
So then it's got one option, it's gotta be a single sign with. All the businesses on it.
That would be my interpretation. For the freestanding sign.
And when I looked at it, I immediately thought that, not realizing that we had a shopping center definition. Yeah, that this really should be treated like a shop. Why wouldn't it be treated like a shopping center? Yeah,
Okay,
so.
what do we have to do then? So I'm gonna add on to it, I'm gonna add 54 inches to the top of that sign. Can we
Or,
approve that?
or if you wanna design a new
No,
sign.
no, no, no. So I'm just gonna add 54 inches to the top of that sign. Can I get that approved today?
We can change the language and just say. As amended, One freestanding sign, no higher than 15 feet tall.
And
Yeah,
then I'll just review the permit for Mark.
That meets the,
it means the
It means it-
criteria and it leaves,
at least
Personal
just one
taste.
sign. Or, you know.
No, it's okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and then a year from now, I can come back and we can rebuild it. You know, if that's the case,
yeah,
if I decide I hate it.
You or your neighbor. and
Yeah,
that kind of
exactly.
stuff. But anyway,
yeah,
I think we'll hear it more than you do.
So.
we do, we hear signs,
No, but I walk the dog with my neighbor, so.
yeah,
an opportunity to discuss. Yes. All right, so you'll stack the two signs.
Yeah, I'll just do that. Yeah, we'll just do that for now.
Run the electric up for the lights, same, the lights look the same
It
as
makes
the other
that a
one.
whole lot easier, actually. It saves me a bunch of money.
Yeah,
there you go, okay.
Great.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably do a little something with the design to make it match the bottom, you know,
yeah.
but
Yeah, right,
put some framing.
You have what you need to revise the resolution there, Niels? Yep. All right. Let's see. Motion to approve the modified resolution.
that's an then,
Oh, I gotta read it. Yeah, I gotta let him run it
yeah.
out. Yeah.
The,
Awful what's here.
you can read the very top and then the now therefore, because nothing that those.
That
parts-
part's not gonna change, okay. Yeah. Planning Board Resolution number 2025-014. A resolution of site plan approval for signage located at 1708 Trumansburg Road, Town of Ulysses, tax parcel 34.1-9. Now therefore, the planning board resolves the following. Planning board hereby grants approval for the proposed amended site plan as described above and is shown on the site plan noted above, subject to the following condition. Let's see, conditional approval, the freestanding sign must be placed on the subject property and located entirely outside of New York State's Department of Transportation right away.
So we can get
And
rid of
then
that
add-
condition, because that's already existing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
That's already existing sign that's out there. So we just remove the condition then?
or make the condition, on the condition that it's stacked, or how would you say it differently?
We're already putting in up above, so I changed
Oh,
the
you
language to
put
say
that,
that
yeah.
the request is to add signage to the existing freestanding sign no higher than. Right,
Okay, that sounds good. So it's. So we need a new,
Niels is working on the new document.
but a
Oh.
site plan,
we can just, as a red line, we'll just mark that out and
okay,
Josh will make a new site plan for Mark for the file.
okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Cool.
all right,
So. Motion to
Oh.
approve,
second,
all in favor?
I.
Right.
All right,
They'll just go through all the signage stuff and
Yeah.
looking.
did you look at Bart's version?
What?
Did you look at the chat?
Yeah,
GPD version?
well, no, I'm just looking at the.
What is the?
Shopping center, and then they have a whole bunch of other signs, this and that. It gets really confusing.
Yes.
But
I go down to look, is the shopping center a thing, like, other than for signage? Like, are there other regulations that, like,
That apply.
now
There
a
are.
shopping center,
Aren't there for driveways? and
or is it
things?
just for? Oh, for driveways maybe?
Yeah, that it's gotta be a single entrance.
For landscaping, perhaps. But that
With a
would be
single
for like-
entrance? No.
No, yeah, no, I might be confusing it with the village one, but. Most of them have something in where if you do that, you've got a limit to the number of. Driveways, which is one of the whole point of having one sign so that everybody goes in one place and then. Finds their business.
The only way to have two signs is you have to sell one of the businesses. It's the only way.
You just got this one up and running.
No, I think even as a shopping center on a corner, You have two signs, but
Uh,
I'm gonna have to read that now. Is that not true?
Right.
It's just one.
It's just one for shopping.
Each
center.
business is allowed one wall sign.
Okay.
But two. I gotta read it,
So if,
but it doesn't really matter.
if both.
I thought it was
uses-
two,
If both the uses were in one single building, then yes, you could have two signs on the building, but for each business, they're allowed one wall sign.
wall signs. Oh, I thought there were two road signs if you're on the corner.
Freestanding sign, road sign, so the freestanding sign, there's only one,
Oh,
if it's this road sign.
it's maybe everything. Okay, well, we're shopping.
Yeah,
center.
right. We all-
I guess we've grown up on my I'll tell my. All right, thank you all. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
For break, reading them.
oh, Monday, it's confusing.
Yeah.
Is it where if you have adjacent shopping centers, you have to have interconnecting parking lots?
Or have a bridge over.
Well, it's
That
to
would be
keep you
nice.
from having to leave to go back down the road and come back in.
We don't have anything, but that would be under your review to make it as a condition of approval.
Yeah.
I think there should also be something similar for subdivisions.
Mm-hmm.
Other towns already have that in to where, they connect, so you limit or limit the.
Number
curb
of
cuts
entrances onto
on
the
road.
main road.
When they built the post office in Trimsburg, I told them they should connect it over to the next lot. So that people aren't going out, coming back in, because it was still the Big M or whatever, the grocery
Oh,
store. then.
right.
And they said, well, they didn't want to do that, and so they had all these people going in and out. So-
Oh, my God.
40 foot down the road and coming back in, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Were people stepping over the guy rail to go to one or the other, from the other parking lot.
Yeah. Safety hazard. Yeah.
Okay. Next on the agenda then are the two chapters that are, the next two chapters on the comp plan, the environment and natural resources element, and then the climate change and resiliency element. And I need about 20 minutes of that at least to deal on the stream stuff. And part of the reason I want to keep the streams moving is, most of us met lawyer and that sort of stuff. And the town board right now is in the middle of tax, or next year's tax stuff and that. So,
Budget stuff.
right, so I figure if we come up tonight on the stream stuff with a pretty solid idea of what we want, our next meeting is a month down the road. We would make a formal resolution at that meeting, and that would put it in the town's court essentially for October. So that we keep that moving, so it doesn't disappear. But this environmental and natural resources stuff, I don't know, do all of you have access to those chapters from the town site, if nothing else?
Well, we do.
Yeah, I do
Us,
too, yeah. Well, you and I double ways because.
Really,
we're
it's only-
comp plan. Right,
Well, if you have any comments,
On the climate one, I think.
oh,
they-
either one.
Well, mostly on the
environmental and
climate, I
climate
thought the
change.
natural resources one, I thought they were both really good. The only thing that I would say is on the climate one, there should be more discussion in there on potential cost to the town. Because every time there's one of those big storms and culverts blow out
Yeah,
and things, and the edges of roads blow out along ditches, because it's already happened going down to the lake a few times on storms. That's a cost to the town that is gonna be there, and the town's either gonna have to do it as a repair, or they're gonna have to be proactive and start to deal with slowing down the water in some of those places, or increasing the size of culverts as they're going around, because otherwise it's gonna be, and it's like the conversation on the farm drainage, and
Drainage, yeah,
blowing
right.
out some of the ditches already where they put them in and flooding them. Because the water's coming off the field faster.
right.
That's all cost to the town that
Right,
should get rid of.
right.
Yeah,
More
well, they're
development.
already
Yeah.
working on that Garrett Road culvert, but the process it takes to go through and get the funding and all the rest of this. It's like 3 to 5 years for one major culvert. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to stay ahead of
Well, I don't think
climate
it,
change.
they have to, I think it needs to be noted in there as a cost of an impact.
Yeah,
And I mean, you have the potential for bridges not having enough throat anymore. Because
flood levels are gonna be higher, so they're gonna be flowing higher and they're gonna be into the bottom of the bridge. Anything in the water is gonna be hitting the bottom of the bridge at some point.
The one time that Glenview Road blew out going down, it blocked off 89 totally during hurricanes.
That's one of the ones I'm talking.
Is it?
If
Yeah.
it was in the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I also on the, Roxanne's on the committee. But
Right.
there's some things in the water for the environmental one. There's some recommendations around the, regeneration. Critical area, and that we were talking about in the water plan. Now, we don't, we were gonna talk about it today, but clearly got too busy. And so, and I forgot to send it, so I would like to see something around that included in the environment. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cause
If
you
you- if you
refer to critical environmental.
If we could
areas.
both write them out.
Yeah.
And send
Okay.
it to,
I'll get it all to Niels. You
Okay.
just email it to me.
okay,
And then
Yeah.
Jeff did a very nice job on the housing one there, a very detailed one that I'm gonna share with all the rest of you. They really did a nice job of going through it, and a bunch of points in there. Well, the
Oh,
two of
good.
you have been on the planning board for a
Ever.
fairly long time. One of the things that I know is that the town, as best I understand it now, the single wide trailers are only allowed in existing trailer parks.
right,
I think that was done to avoid, you drive around a lot of New York State, you see these old single wide trailers or like the two in DD3 that they're trying to get rid of and that sort of stuff. I think that's the driving factor behind forcing it to either double wides or modular homes.
Uh-huh.
So that in the
Yeah,
long
it's a
run,
fine line.
it looks more like a
Yeah.
house than.
Yeah. Yeah, they're more substantial,
Well, I'll get Jeff's stuff to Niels. He's the only one that gave me the actual inputs on the first three chapters.
yeah, the only one.
But
I
you were
had
dealing
was
with your water stuff and.
but the only other one was making sure it refers to. I think a school district as well as Trumansburg, which I mentioned at the.
Yeah,
Yeah. Too, as being a big deal.
and I'll go back and listen to our minutes from the last meeting and then type it up so that we got some idea what we actually discussed and that sort of stuff. I'll just take the time. to go
Well,
through
and make
it.
sure we all agree. on
Right,
what we're
that's what we're saying, yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I'll write it up and give it to Niels to send out to everybody and give you a chance. If you want, you could go back and listen to that portion. I'll try and tag it sort of time wise. So that
Yeah.
you got some idea, although I don't know how to fast forward through the video. For me, it's okay, put some coffee on and go for it.
Yeah.
so one question I have for you too is, so when I'm talking about water, one of the issues that we encounter all the time is when somebody's building uphill.
Right.
In the impact, where does that get referenced? Does it come in the environmental area, or is there another place where they talk about that? Because that's another one of the things that the water plan addresses, is how do we handle that in the site plan review? How
I
to
think
make
that,
sure
natural resource, I think
That
that was,
would-
yeah, I think.
that
it's
would
in
be
there.
in the environmental.
We didn't put a lot in for water because we didn't know a lot about water. I mean,
Right.
I mean, there's certain
Right,
parts in it, but if you have anything that's important, you should send it to us, so send it to Carl.
well,
because
I'm gonna send you section 3 of the water. plan.
Yeah, I read through it today. I was doing one of my hospice care patients and he was sleeping, so I sat there, read through that whole water thing.
Well, you should have read
I-
the
I-
whole thing, but it was really.
Well, I had time to work on it. And his
You
wife
do.
was getting a major work done on a crown to give prep for it, and this was like a 4-hour visit, so I had time to work on it.
So you got to the regulatory.
Yeah,
Did you have any comment or thoughts?
nothing that jumped out. It
Did it make
interesting to
sense
me. It made sense going through it.
I mean, we're not scripting what you should do. We're just saying, we've got to do
Right.
something about it,
Yeah.
which is
Well, that's what
comp
the
plan.
comp plan is anyway.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
suggestions of what to do.
yeah. Okay, so that,
But if there are particular
Right.
applicable sections where we should tie the two together, now that you've got the
Okay.
water thing sent off
Right.
to the DEC already, you know.
so what's the best way to, I mean, so Roxanne should have been incorporating some of these things. That's what
She's,
Yeah.
she's
But
been
we
working on it.
haven't Had it
Finished.
approved by the town board yet, and we still haven't had it approved by the DEC.
It has to go to a public meeting.
Why? No, there is a public meeting coming, but the big thing is for the DEC to approve it, so we qualify for grants. You know, that's. the
I'm talking
big
about the
motivation.
chapter themselves.
Oh, okay, gotcha, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, the chapter, well, they're still setting that up. I haven't seen the final date yet with is it gonna be at Racker Center? Did that finally get cleared?
Yeah, today I got notice that we're good on record. I'm just trying to confirm with Liz, because we got a price point. I think it's fine. I'd rather get the whole thing.
What date did you come up with for that one?
Well, the committee set it for the October sixth, that's on Monday.
Yeah, that's what we had.
October.
That's what we were
Yeah.
doing anyway.
Okay.
So that's when all the chapters will be out before that to the public. And so this brings us to 5 out of the 9 chapters that we will be through, and the other, Neil's already sent out this afternoon, the voting for the steering committee for the comp plan is like another 2 or 3 2 more chapters to come
Okay.
out. So since we're not meeting for a month, once those get approved, do the same thing with them like we've been doing, just looking through it. And we'll get comments in that way. Same thing for you, Simon, if you get, well, I guess we're gonna lose you as a member,
Yeah.
so not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry to lose you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I've just been very, very busy lately and I haven't had time to review them.
That's fine. If life gets in the way and the younger you are with a family, it's just, there are lots of tugs and pulls.
Yeah,
Well,
and the timing at the university is a little difficult.
Yeah, and this has been really busy
Yeah,
time. We've had a lot of projects come
yeah.
in addition to try and handle that. Yeah. So, okay,
All right. So then we'll go to the stream stuff. If that's all right.
Yeah.
Anything further on comp plan? If not, we'll go to the stream stuff.
But you will not make it to the October first, contact. And hopefully I will make it to the 6th.
Neil sent out late this afternoon or in that last email, if you pull it up.
Yeah, I got it.
I,
Draft?
yeah, I put together a draft, it's kind of pushy on my part to step in on this like this, but I took what the lawyer gave us and I put it together more. I'm looking not to follow exactly what I'm giving you. I'm looking for you guys to put it out there as suggestions and get your inputs of what we really want to incorporate into asking the town board to put out a resolution that clearly defines what the rules are for dealing with this. And I think my feeling is we got a pretty good description from Nate that covers the different types of streams and that sort of stuff and really provides some solid guidance. So we don't end up with stream stuff put into people's properties that we currently don't have authorization to put there and that sort of stuff. So that, you impact the property owners and that stuff, but it also gives us a chance, I think, to use all the different versions that are out there. So essentially what I said is use only the current 212 zoning recognized stream sources. That's the USGS, either if you have a professional engineer, geologist or whatever the term is. Hydrologist, if it's changed names, but unfortunately in our zoning, it says geologist. Or the Soil and Water Commission, and Niels and I have both had from Tompkins County Soil and Water that they don't designate streams, but immaterial.
On your draft, should you
Yep.
put in 7.5 million?
We could do that.
Well, because there might be other maps. There might be
Yeah.
a dozen different other maps, so I think you should put that in.
Yeah, well, that's why I said the 212 zoning recognized stream sources, but yeah, we can clearly spell that out.
Yeah, you should if it's a resolution, so there should be
Right.
no question.
So essentially go back to his number one up there that it says. To reference the United States Geological Survey, USGS 7.5 minute quadrangle map.
Right.
And. All right, and then the other part is, do we want to reference the 212 actual articles in there too?
I think you should. because-
Essentially use paragraph one of what Nate gave us.
The only reason is because, if you don't put it in, somebody's gonna come up and say, well.
Right, I went to USGS site and there's all sorts of maps.
Right, exactly. So I think you should really reference. the whole-
Essentially use what Neil gave, or what Nate gave us for
Yeah,
for number one up there. Just,
it just makes it easier for us if somebody does come up and question us.
right,
We say, well, it's written all out.
yeah,
Whatever it is, that's what it is.
okay. The second point I put in there is there are DEC streams that are beyond what the USGS stuff has.
Right.
And in talking to the county about their 239 review, they definitely look at the DEC material in that. And it's gonna come in, and a lot of these land actions go to the county for a 239 review. So I would think that we would wanna recognize that that's going to be there and just deal with it.
Well, a lot of things don't go to 239.
Right, if it doesn't go to 239, do we wanna still include the DEC stuff?
Yeah, if we think it's.
I
something
think
that E
the
would do.
DEC certainly has the manpower, the expertise to decide, and if they decided. Well, the state DEC, I don't think has changed significantly.
It did, because
It
they
did?
lost funding. Yeah, some of the guys that came to do the health testing of wells got terminated. Which was interesting.
EPA cuts.
Well, anyway,
So, yeah,
these are newer additions that they put in and that sort of stuff. And I would think, because long-term, what I would like to see the town go to when they revise the zoning would be to use the New York State DEC stream as what they use for the town to recognize.
mhm,
And that includes all the USGS stuff, plus some others that the DEC has added in. And it would line us up with what the state uses.
okay, so wait, so we were talking about 239, but DEC, if we think there's a potential for a wetland because of the new regulation, we still have to have the
Well,
DEC
that's
involved.
right,
Yeah,
the D, well, that's why when I get down to 5
Okay.
down there,
okay,
I address, it's not in his thing, it's what I put together here as
okay,
an agenda item and that, but anyway. So. I put in some version of that, I would like to see that says we recognize that if the DEC has an additional stream, we recognize that and deal with it.
Yeah,
You know, the same setbacks and everything else. For other stream data, Tompkins County GIS, property survey, or other sources, site visits and that. That's where I think we need to make those. If we include them for information and that sort of stuff, like we did in that, one Israeli house last fall there, we went in and clearly identified in the documents, like the site review and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff, to say, this is a GIS only, I think we wanna look at them and that sort of stuff, that know that they're out there, they're gonna jump up anyway if you use the parcel view and that sort of stuff from the town map or the Tompkins mapper, which is very useful for knowing the neighborhood and how everything is laid out. They're gonna jump up on there whether you want them or not. And so I think we need a mechanism to deal with that, to say that if they're on there, clearly identify them as something that's not currently covered by town zoning. And you're not authorized to require setbacks and that sort of stuff from something that's not recognized by the zoning.
Okay, so I heard something different, that if it's, looks like a stream, that we do have an obligation, and that we have some variability in setbacks are.
Well, are you
Under
talking about
seeker.
a street or a runoff?
Even runoff,
Drainage and that kind of stuff.
yeah, because runoff could be a diverted stream. Right? It could be, Nate was pretty clear about that,
Yeah.
a stream is a stream, if it looks like a duck and.
Right,
Yeah.
but it might only be in the spring and fall, but it's rainy season, otherwise it could be dry.
And
Well-
there's rules for intermittent,
Yeah,
and,
But
yeah,
what Nate was saying, that even those streams that are outside those, the allowed sources of streams, if they come up under seeker, then we still have to deal with them as a stream if it's a
Yeah.
stream. And that's when,
Right.
we was talking about getting the geologist or a hydrologist in to confirm that if the person didn't want to do
if
it.
he did,
But
if
we
he
can't-
objects to it.
You
Yeah.
can't blanket do the zoning setbacks on that. You really have to do what comes out of the impacts that come
Yes,
under
right.
seeker.
And that's where our discretion comes.
Right.
Gets fed in through the seeker process, right? Did you?
That's what I'm looking for is
Oh,
inputs
okay.
yeah.
to straighten this out. I'm one of 4 or 5.
Yes.
And I need all 4 or 5 on this.
No, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to confirm that.
Yeah, cause
You're, yeah.
well, yeah, that's
Okay.
why we wanna include it in there, but. It certainly does not fall under the current zoning for the town. To match up with the town zoning and that sort of stuff for required setbacks and all the rest of this.
Right.
And that's the thing I'm trying to avoid is because, in his number 2, if a land use decision being references determination of a stream. Then no, because the code directs those 3 sources of data. But you could certainly require. A licensed geologist to evaluate this particular runoff or whatever. And then take whatever results you get out of that. That's the other side, is that you can require
Well, you
that.
could go beyond zoning on that. You could go and ask a biologist to look at it if you think there's something living in there or whatever under seeker. The collection of information would be different.
Not just under seeker. I mean, the planning board has authority to require any special study you want for a project. But
Right,
generally, it's gonna be seeker on something like that anyway, so.
So
yeah,
you can't blanket enforce the zoning setbacks and things on things that aren't covered by the sources that you've got here, but it doesn't preclude us from looking at other things as being streams or whatever.
and if concurred to with the owner. Then it's not a problem when we need to pull in other resources because they don't agree with it, then we have to pull in the hydrologist or.
Yeah, well, the only
Environmental person.
problem I see is when somebody comes up, that doesn't mean they're gonna put that on their plan. That's the other thing, then you would have to go to the site to actually look.
Yeah.
Cause they might
Yeah.
say, oh, there's a runoff over here, but it's dry all the time. Or, there's a gully or whatever, so you
I
would
think-
have to actually
yeah.
go look at it.
That's exactly what, just didn't have the same consequences, but the property behind ours, when the stream that goes that, they called it a small intermittent stream.
Uh,
Well, it's dry right now.
Right.
The other
It's rained
time,
in a month.
yeah, right. But the dogs find a place to swim in it.
Oh, well, that's pretty good size.
And it, because it takes going from one parcel to another parcel
Yeah.
to get gas, I guess.
Yeah.
Or pick up speed, so, yeah, you can't just, yeah. So it's really easy for people, for it to be different,
Yeah,
and parcel to parcel,
well, that's
yeah.
spell out everything you wanna see in there, and that's why I figured I would start it tonight. And give us a month to work on it, and we can, I think that. the safest way to avoid the unintentional meeting is if what we decide we would like to see, if we send it to Niels and let him send it back out to the planning board, you know,
To the town
say, well,
Oh, no.
we aren't ready to send this to the town board yet.
That's what I was wondering.
Oh,
No,
no.
I want us as the planning board to come to agreement. And that's why I'm looking to start this now, and then on the meeting in September, we would come to a resolution there that we're willing to send to the town
Yeah.
board. We need time to think on this and chew it over and, you know, draft it 3 or 4 times and kind of look at it and decide. No, so the other 2 items I added on there besides this streams that are not recognized and how we deal with them. Current 212 stream setback requirements are antiquated and may not meet best practices. But I think at this point, we're kind of stuck with what's in the zoning to just
Yeah.
follow what's there. You know, I realize we go from 50 foot to 25 foot, depending on what zone you're in and this sort of stuff, but I don't want to jump into trying to rewrite the darn zoning. I think we just recommend the town
Oh,
board
come
and
on.
we just stay with it for now. Just and take at least the first part that kind of sorts out what streams we're dealing with and what streams we're not dealing with, and kind of a bite at a time. The last one I put in, and because Nate has a whole page of stuff on this wetlands and that kind of stuff. The property, if the property appears to contain a wetland or stream flood zone, require the property owner to provide a state DEC declaration. That's what the new requirement is. And if the state decides that it's a positive declaration that there is a regulated wetland there, then a positive declaration from state DEC will require a delineation of the wetland by the regional DEC. And keep us out of the game of trying to figure out whether it's a wetland or not. You know, Nate put in all these 11 different conditions and that sort of stuff. I certainly don't know beans about recognizing all those plants and the rest of this. I believe the town would be better served to have the state DEC decide if the property contains a wetland or not. You know, they have the law that says they're supposed to do that, and they've got the resources to force the issue. Yeah, I think we would just ask the town to say, if it looks like a wetland is there, just ask the owner to get the state DEC declaration and
If your feet
That's
get wet,
ask questions, yeah. But anyway, get us out of the game of attempting to figure it out. You know, Niels, I don't know, your inputs on this.
But just on the wetland issue, because the way the town zoning code is, it has wetlands based on jurisdiction, so federal, state, local.
Yeah.
Versus just, I'm used to a process where there are just wetlands. And you go by the core standard. It doesn't matter if it's been mapped by DEC or Fish and Wildlife. It really should be researched by a professional that has expertise and certifications in wetland biology. Use the core standards, and then from there define whether there is actually one a wetland, and if it is a wetland, where's its boundaries, and then what type of wetland it is.
Yeah.
But right now, so under Carl's suggestion, though, I mean, that's you're asking the town board just in relation to state DEC wetlands. I mean, there's gonna be times where the state DEC doesn't recognize maps mapped by, or wetlands mapped by US Fish and Wildlife or by Tompkins County. So you're might be missing out on 2 different
Chunks of data.
yeah. So that would be my only suggestion is,
Well, that's what I'm looking for, is what else we need to incorporate in there. You know, to go ahead so that it,
Yeah.
right, so it covers what we need. And that's really what I'm looking for, is to keep it relatively short, like a 1-pager. That the town can convert into a resolution. You know, our resolution will be a recommendation to the town, because that was part of that meeting when you and I were there last October, when I first brought this up to the town. You know, Rich Goldman says, well, Carl, you're going to spearhead this, and the planning board is going to come back to the town board with a recommendation of what to do to deal with this. So that's really what I'm following through on is the rest of that, to come up with something that we can live with as the planning board, because we're the ones really gonna, between us and Niels are the ones gonna really see this
Oh, yeah.
on an ongoing basis. We've gone to the BZA a couple times to ask them if they wanted to participate, and so far they declined.
So, but in the end, would this recommendation turn into a change in zoning, right?
Not initially, it'll just be a resolution from the town board that clarifies what street, it essentially tells us to follow the zoning is what it's doing. You know, and you've got legal's opinion on how we follow the zoning. Cause even when I went to the county, their first response was, just follow your zoning. You know,
Is there
and
any-
that's where the problem of bringing in all this GIS stuff that's not recognized by the zoning.
Is there anybody else besides us and Niels who really looks at them?
The BZA, once in a while, they will get a property that has,
But isn't that after it comes from us?
Or
Yeah, we would give
marketing.
suggestions.
yeah,
Sometimes it's just marketing name as well. There's projects that won't trigger planning board review.
There's, yeah, I remember one that we had, that there was a test, and when we did Spruce Row was expanding, they were pushing out on one side and they were coming dangerously close to wetland. You know, clear wetland area that would have had to been clarified, but Rebecca went with me at the time and she knows more, she at the time knew more about that kind of thing and what the testing would be like, and she felt that the setback was sufficient for that, and, you know, for that situation, so we didn't require it. It was pretty clear what it was a wetland head into a big stream, but they got Willow Creek. Yeah. So it was pretty important wetland. Yeah. So it doesn't happen very often. Wetland. Streams are different. man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can tell them by all the culvert markers along the So,
well, that's what I'm looking for is input from all of you. You go and
Okay.
really flesh this out so that we get to something that we feel we can sign off on as a resolution to send to the town board.
yeah,
Cause zoning is going to take, you know, get the comp plan in, and you're probably looking at 2 or 3 years after that before you realistically get a zoning change.
Well, actually, town board could change if we have a zoning to put in, they can.
They
change
can change.
One area, yeah.
Right, a single area, but
Yeah.
they're gonna be reluctant to do that. It costs money to do that, but if necessary, yeah,
well, and if a comp plan drives zoning changes.
yeah.
Could fall
Yeah,
into that
but
category.
Really, all we need for now is a directive saying this is how we're gonna interpret these things and.
At this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why taking what Nate gave us, I think is a good, clear definition of what we should be using and not using.
Your sense of clear. I know.
Doesn't match yours, okay, well.
I mean, if it's a nuisance, it's a nuisance.
Would you, if you have a resolution, would you attach it to the zoning section? Because when other people look at the zoning, they're gonna say this, and now we have a sheet of paper that says this.
This, yeah,
It does, and that's one of the problems when you have city councils or town boards or whatever making resolutions.
Yeah.
The town's official wetland map, which is part of this problem, was done by a town board resolution. And it's just kind of out there in the
Yeah.
ether.
Oh,
Right.
was it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was adopted in July of 2019 by a
Yeah.
town board resolution. I don't think there was ever a public hearing.
We were off that. We,
Well, I thought it was zone, it's when we were doing the new.
Well, it was the new zoning and all that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. But I can't find anything in the records of all those, you know, steering committee meetings or anything else where anybody ever bothered to describe it. And in typical fashion, we never even bothered included a definition of a wetland
it went
in the
through-
definition section
It
of the
went through
zoning.
very fast. It was a quick hit, though. You know, it was hard to go through all this.
Yeah,
And we had like, you know, a book that you had to go through, and it was either in red, scratched out, overwritten. No, it's hard to look at all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't on the planning board then, I was just in the.
You weren't?
I was in the peanut gallery.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was just before, because it was shortly after
Okay,
that
yeah,
that I
because
joined,
it
so I
was-
didn't
it-
see that part.
It went through pretty fast. It wasn't the slow process. It was hard to go through quite a lot of it. It
Okay.
was rewritten.
Yeah, right, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't think the planning board was involved enough, or,
No, really wasn't, no.
no. At the time,
Yeah,
yeah.
It wasn't a lot of what you put in ignored anyway.
yes.
You like that?
Anyway.
Alright.
This is sort of a Band-Aid fix, but I feel strongly enough because the real issue that brings this up for me is on the lake shore. There are so many of these GIS only intermittent streams. It goes from 13 to 50, so there's 37 extra ones just in that 2 mile stretch up the lake shore. And it makes a lot of those skinny lakeshore properties we've been dealing with
Skinnier.
essentially unworkable. You know, if you try and require a 75-foot setback in the steep slopes,
Yeah.
and you got a 50-foot wide lot, you're in negative ground. And then you're supposed to have a 15-foot setback on the side yard on the other side, you're
Yeah.
even
But-
more negative.
But now, based on what Nate was saying, we have the discretion to shrink the setback. If it's like a runoff stream or something like that, where we keep
Well, most of the
Enough
property on
support.
the lake in Ulysses is all
runoff.
sold up and there's houses on it, so.
Yeah,
It's not something we're gonna get involved with unless it's somebody tearing down a building and putting up a new one.
Right.
Which does occur because somebody buys an old building and,
Yeah,
makes
right,
it into a McMansion type thing,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, like, the Wilson's, friend, isn't that nearest
no,
the stream? Oh, I
No,
thought. the
there's a
was
gully,
in-
but it's.
there's a
far.
gully, but there,
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
No.
multiple gullies in
Yeah.
that property. The intermittent stream is actually to the south in the next property.
okay,
Next property down, and that's like 200 feet away from where this tram is going in.
okay,
Yeah, this one, because this is one of the few lakefront properties that meets the 250-foot wide lakefront zoning.
that
It's
example.
it's about 400-foot wide, so yeah. It's compared to the last two we dealt with on Maplewood that were 47 and 50.
Yeah,
They'd get lost in this property and still have room left over for a standard one.
Yeah.
But that's really part of what drives my concern on this is if we just blanket accept these GIS streams as being part of what our zoning requires without ever having gone to the public, to get approval or anything else like that, we are essentially, to my mind, taking back property rights that we don't have any authority to go and do.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm trying to avoid, because eventually we would step on somebody that's a lawsuit happy person, and it's gonna get real expensive for the town.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
worth it. I realize we wanna protect the lake and all the rest of this stuff as much as we can. But it's not worth jeopardizing the town finances just for entertainment.
Well, it's their water, they're drinking it.
Right, yeah. And a lot of those drainages down there are already on bedrock if you actually walk down them. And that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. The piece from 89 to the lakefront, most of them have eroded to the point over centuries that they are on bedrock already in
Yeah.
that piece. It's everything up above them that's coming in.
Oh, yeah,
Feeds
yeah,
in.
I've been to a bunch of those and I've seen them, waterfalls, whatever, but it's all on stone, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no dirt anymore, it's all stone.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
the typical drainage down there, I
Yeah.
got one on the north side of my property that's. I've walked down it there and that sort of stuff, and you're walking on solid stone.
Yes,
There's
yeah.
just. The dirt went away a long time ago, but, so anyway,
Come along.
what comes down from above, yeah.
Yeah.
With that then, I just put your inputs in, if you get them in by, say, the meetings on the third Wednesday or third Tuesday of the month, so if you get them in by say about the. The first Friday, that's like
Okay.
about the fifth or something in there like that. That'll give all of us a chance to take a look at them and thrash through what everybody has put in and kind of mash together what we think one should look at or one should look like, and cycle that back to Niels, and we'll make another pass and say, okay, and we'll ask Niels to help figure out the language to make it look like a resolution.
Okay. You said you wanted it by the fifth?
The fifth of September, is that like a Friday of that week? The first
Well, I will
Monday,
try, but I'm going to be at the state fair for the next.
2
weekend.
weeks.
You are.
Well, you wanna make it?
Yeah, I work at the agricultural
You-
museum.
Yeah.
Our club takes care of it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Well, give us what you can, and if it runs a few more days, well, we're definitely gonna make another pass at that before we
yeah.
try to go to a resolution, cause. You know, worst case, it would slide to the second or the first meeting in October. It's probably not gonna make a big difference to the town board, cause they're gonna get through tax season and get through comp plan.
Yeah, right.
Before they really bother to take a look at this
Oh, yeah.
anyway. But the closer we can keep it to what the zoning currently is, you know, essentially following what the zoning already says, I think the smoother it'll be to implement.
Okay.
So are you gonna revise anything, or we're working from?
Well,
this
start
that
with
you
what I
Send
sent,
out, okay.
or start from scratch with your own. It's perfectly amenable to do either way you want. I'm some wacky
Be
engineer
careful
like
what you-
this, you know, but I'm really open. to
Wait,
input.
we'll get Bart's chat.
That's fine too, yes. Because I'm just one of 5 or 6 and.
Yep.
I'm a new guy to the area, so. I'm really looking for you guys to help straighten this out, but I just wanna come out of this with something that it doesn't get lost in the long run.
That's okay.
Thank you. On that
Good.
note, somebody wanna give?
Yep, I'll take it.
No, what?
Just real quick,
Oh,
well, not just in recognition of Simon, I
Yeah.
wanna embarrass Molly a little bit and just recognize that, wanna thank her for her work with the planning board. This is her last meeting.
Ooh.
She's leaving the town for bigger and better things.
Molly.
Molly.
So,
Molly, where you going?
Okay, good idea.
just
Yeah,
appreciating her work. at the
yeah.
Definitely.
board.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you for putting up with us.
Yeah.
That's what it is, putting up with it.
Sorting through,
Yep.
making our
Who
meetings
said what
sound so
when?
much
Yeah.
better than they are.
Yeah.
And Simon, we're gonna miss you too. So, what,
Well, thank you. Well, it's been a good experience so far.
yeah,
Well, hopefully you can come back someday.
yes,
Yeah, hopefully someday, when things quiet down, settle down.
When your kids are 30.
yeah.
Yeah.
right.
That's
I could never do it, yes.
Okay,
But thank you.
Anything else?
No,
All right,
well then I'm going to make a motion again.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
I need you out of that one.
I went out and got it.